shift your mind, the rest is gon' follow. When your heart is full, no need to borrow. Love yourself, that's where it starts. Gotta build it strong, protect your heart.
Welcome to the Brik Talks podcast. I'm your host, the Brik Chik, and today I have a special guest, Shanden Jackson.
Hey, girl, hey.
Hey. She has a host of talents. She is the Assistant Executive Director of the Rochester Traffic Violations Agency. I was calling it the Bureau before, and I had to switch to the agency, so I had to make sure I got that right. She has been employed for more than 20 years. She's a certified personal trainer, and she has various specialty areas. And so it says that you're a glute specialist. Is that something like a BBL doctor?
No, ma'am, and it's certified glute specialist.
Oh, my.
BBL stands for Bill Brik Lullabies.
Oh,
I'm just kidding.
Okay. I'm with that, though. Okay. And also a women's group exercise specialist. She is a fitness coach, a lifespan coach, as well as a line dancing coach. She has an entrepreneur spirit and has several businesses, including the PnK Fitness 4.21 and the Color Me Pink, which has a focus on event planning and hosting, just to name a few. So, Pinky, you know that I've only mentioned a few things that you actually do.
Yeah.
I couldn't, if we put it all here, that would be the whole show.
The whole show.
The whole show.
And we have to do another show to continue.
Right. So, we met a little over a year ago. Our homeboy, Dana Dane. Actually, we met in high school, but we didn't remember that long time ago. Well, we'll go.
You remember.
Yeah, I remember
it. Locked up.
Because, and you were.
Here.
I'm not going to.
Very stewardess student.
No, I don't think so. I think a lot of times I think you were in a detention. So, but about a little over a year ago, I was speaking to a friend of mine and Dana, and I said, Dana, I don't know what's going on. I've been exercising. I'm gaining weight. I don't know. I was in a bad place. He was like, yo, you need to talk to Pinky. And I was like, and I was a little, but, cause you don't know how we women can be.
Okay.
And so I wasn't sure how this was going to work. And he was like, she's got group exercises and that. And it was everything he was saying was like, no.
Run.
Right. But I'm glad that we talked. You got on a call with me and you said, hey, listen, I've been there. I already knew. You were like, that's exactly what you were doing. I've heard all this before. And I just felt so comfortable in even just having those conversations. And you said, I can help you. It's just, you didn't come on overnight. It's not going to go off overnight. And we can work on your diet. We can work on some things. Right. We don't have to do a whole lot of super exercise, but you just have to be consistent. And I can help you along the way. So that's where, and then we ended up becoming friends because you're just so cool, man.
Thank you.
All right.
That's me.
That's it. So, and a shout out to the PnK Steppers as well, because I was working out of town at the time, so I couldn't come and do the practices. But now I've been coming and learning how to line dance, and I love it. And I'm her videographer.
Yeah, she get fired every week.
So, of course, when I told her I was starting this podcast, which I've been working on for years and finally launching, and I'm so thankful for that, she was right on board. She helped me with my photo shoot, and she said, hey, I'll come in and I'll be a guest. So I appreciate you for being here with us today. So this podcast focuses on building resilience and inspiring consciousness, which means, we just want to talk about people who have gone through some things, have had some experiences. We're all in our upper years. So we've been certain places where a lot of people are still coming. And I think that our journey is important to share with people, especially people who are struggling with, maybe needing to make some transformations in their life, like I was when we met, when we started exercising together. So Shanden definitely exemplifies resilience, as she has overcome several things in her life.
Yes.
Obstacles in her childhood, into her adult life. I know you had some issues with your health and things like that. So, but you continue to smile. You continue to encourage people and impact people's lives every day. You're always showing up, so I appreciate that. And I just she's here today and she's going to share a little wisdom with us on how she overcame some of the obstacles in her life that helped her continue to thrive. I don't know where we should start. Should we start with your fitness journey, or should we talk a little bit about the moment in your life when life wasn't lifing, or life was lifing, and everything maybe wasn't going as easy or as expected, and what obstacles stood in your way and how you overcame them? How did you overcome those particular issues?
Well, we can take it back. Now, there was no childhood trauma around here except for, old school parents doing old school things.
We were all. I think that's everybody.
A lot of people now, because mental health is so big, they want to say that was trauma. It wasn't. It actually brought me into who kind of I am, the strong person I was. But childhood, being the middle child, so, I had the middle child syndrome, but also played the older sister role. So I took on the mother hen role. So being in a household with 3 other women, all light skinned, I'm the only brown skinned girl. So the name calling was challenging. The smallest of the bunch, but the biggest mouth of the bunch. So heaviest voice of the bunch. So, the imperfections that I saw was that, but to others, they saw beauty. But because of the name calling and things like that, even though, it was childish, siblings doing childish things, it made me who I am. So my clapback, what they call it now, is stronger than ever. So,
right.
So when School Days came out and the Jigaboos came out and the wannabes, in high school you get all that. Now they call it bullying, but we just took it as drilling and went on about our ways. That's who created me to be the funny person I am, and that's why I laugh through everything. I smile through everything because they're only words, and that's what people have to understand. And every action doesn't require a reaction. So I had to get my sassy, smart myself together because it got me in a lot of trouble. So my resilience from that was to take my voice that was different, heavy, raspy, and use it at my advantage. So I got into speaking. I got into emceeing. I got into hosting. So I got into a lot of things utilizing my voice because now I can be heard. I'm not little, short, brown skin, pie head, raccoon eyed, little. That's what that.
Is that what it was?
That's what it was. But
you
the funny thing
were
is,
the cheerleading coach, not a coach, but you were the captain, right?
Captain of the cheerleading squad, and they say the same thing. The PnK steppers and the guts and things say I was mean, but look at the outcome and the results that I get. Everybody that say that, they keep coming back. So my mean girl way works, but it's in a funny manner. So like now, I laugh at, y'all used to call me raccoon eyes, but now y'all trying to get that shady eye look. I got it naturally. You get what I'm saying? So it's those things like that make people realize some things that we think are imperfections are really not, and they're not flaws. It's actually just the inner beauty that he gave you for you to be unique that you are.
And I think now I'm noticing, because I had a similar circumstance. I didn't have I had a sibling, but my sibling had special needs, and so she wasn't as it wasn't your traditional sisterly relationship, and so we didn't have that kind of thing, the bantering back and forth and things like that. But I was always the white girl, you know what I'm saying? So but then when you're in school, because I went to Catholic schools for the majority of my education, and then I ended up going into some public school situations, and so and I didn't have like the brothers and the cousins and these family relationships, so I had to kind of stand up on my own, you know what I mean? And so people would kind of look at me because I was so high yellow, you know what I'm saying? Like, are you white? Are you Spanish? Are you this? Are you that? And so I wasn't sure, like, how do I fit in? How do I fit into the mold, right? I couldn't hang around with the white kids. The black kids are calling me white, right? But I couldn't hang out with the white kids because they didn't. I'm not. They clearly know I'm not white. So you're too light to be black. But you're not white enough, and meaning that, your conversation, the way you talk, you know what I'm saying, your culture and stuff like that is not white. So I never really, I had to find my place a lot of times. And so, I ended up spending a lot of time by myself. And I found out that my grandmother actually had a white mother. Okay. And so she lived with her mother for a certain number of years. And then she had to go and move with who I always thought was her mom, but actually, from what I understand, my grandfather kind of gave me some information about this, that she might have actually been her aunt. Okay. And so, and what happened was her mother was an indentured servant. So she worked in, I think I want to say New England, and she cleaned houses for, wealthy white people. And so she had this child. And my grandmother was very, very white looking, right? But when she spoke, you could hear that she was not white. And then when she got in the sun, she would tan real pretty. So when she started getting to the point where she couldn't go for white anymore, she had to send her to live with her sister because in order for her to continue. And that really, I think that broke my grandmother's heart because she was very mean. She was beautiful,
right,
but she was very mean, and I never really understood why she was so mean. And my grandfather explained that to me. And she used to always tell us, when we would go visit in the summer and stuff, we'd be outside playing, and she'd say, come on back in the house. Come on back in the house. You're going to get too dark out there. And I never I'm like, what are you talking about, too dark? And my mother would push us outside. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I didn't get, what do you mean too dark? What does that mean? Is there something wrong with being dark? But then I understood when my grandfather, but when and for the experience that she had, that was probably what her mother said to her.
Exactly.
And I'm sure it broke her mother's heart to have to give her up. But, back then, that's the kind of thing. So I understand that. And I think now, we have such a with social media has its ups and downs, right? It has its good points, it has its bad points, but I think one of the good things about it is that there's such an influx of information out there.
There is.
And there's so much pride in being Black and knowing a lot of things that are coming to light now that was never shared with us about Jesus being Black and the Black people and the things that we've created and the things that we've done and us being having the DNA of every culture, everything, and I think that now the kids have something a little bit more to be proud of, because I think we came up kind of in an era where my mother would always tell us, oh, Black people are great and this and that.
Well, on the papers, when they say, is you Black, white, African, I put confused.
Right. I put other.
I do other, but I put confused on the line because you don't know. You don't know.
You really don't.
You really don't. And my grandmother, coming from back then, because she was mixed, she was considered a mutt. Yeah. Light skin, long hair down to her back.
Yes.
So, she got teased. And I had the same situation as your grandmother. Remember, my mom told y'all the story, how she made me put on that big old hat to go outside and play because I would get burnt by the sun because I'm allergic to the sun. Mm-hmm. So I would dark, crispy Black, and she didn't want that. I was, you're already Black. Get back in, and I take it off and I come home. You took that hat off. So it was like, wait a minute. So we both had that identity struggle that we had to, and not who we are, but what we were and who we are becoming to be.
Right.
So it was like, where do I fit in? I was a social butterfly. I was an entertainer. I could mix in with anybody and pull everybody in. And I think that's where the distance between me and my siblings came. My older sister was a bookworm. Mm-hmm. That was her thing. My younger sister, she was just the vigilante.
Okay.
So, always doing what was not supposed to be done.
She was a gangster.
Right. So, and here I am just trying to be everybody's friend.
Right.
And that's just always been me. That's just been me. I've always wanted to be cool with everybody. I'm going to make you laugh. I'm going to make you laugh. I'm going to make you laugh. That was just always me. Yeah. So I've always been that family entertainer. I've always been the one, dance on the spot. You tell me to do something, I'm going to do it on the spot. Mm-hmm. Never was afraid to do anything in front of anybody or anything. That was just always me. And they didn't have that. And some people say that's hard to do.
Yeah.
You give me a microphone. I was 5 years old at church. Give me a microphone. I walked with visitors like I was a grown person. Right. It's like, whoa. And then they had to come take the mic because I didn't know how to shut up.
Right. So you hijacked the microphone.
Always.
Okay, you can't do that today.
Get the gas.
Okay, don't do it.
I got you.
Cut it out.
You better get to talking.
Yeah, well, I better say something.
Yeah, something. You already did. Right.
So I know that you talked about, because with the steppers, right? I thought that was a great, to me, that's just beautiful. And I don't think anybody else is doing it quite that way. Even with the way that you, the uniforms that you have. Yes. So I know you mentioned that when you were much younger, you always wanted to be like a choreographer. And so what is your history with that?
Not wannabe was. Let's get that together. Okay.
Oh, I'm the wannabe. I forgot.
You got T? No.
I forgot I'm the wannabe.
Yes.
Okay, sorry.
Okay. No. So in my younger years, always danced, always did step, cheer, all of that type of stuff. Like I said, always something. So I had formed a group in my adolescent 20s with my best friend and a couple of our other friends. And we used to entertain at fashion shows and different things that were put on. Back then, there was a lot of stuff going on. You had the Sir Michael Danny fashion show. So I would go in and do different types of things like that. And then, of course, that stopped because, things wear down after years and then stopped. So then I started working at Eastside Community Center. That's now changed the name. Can't tell you what it is. And I created the step team for the kids because the community, they needed something for the kids to do. Mm-hmm. So what I did was I created a step team for the kids in the area. And then I brought my brother in who did martial arts with the boys. So we didn't want to leave them out. And then I also started a hygiene program for the young ladies because we also know back then, the birds and the bees and health and hygiene was not discussed with young ladies. Mm-hmm. So a lot of them are being teased about the body odors, about what's going on. So I started that and I got into the step thing. When I left there, that kind of died down. And then I got into the wedding planning, was deep into that behind the scenes. And then one day, my pastor wife had her 50th birthday party. We line dance all night because every time we go somewhere, everybody, come on, Shanda, let's dance. Come on, Pinky, let's dance.
So kind of like the family reunion line dance.
I'm always the one they called to dance for. But that was my grandmother. Any event we went to, the Wishing Well Diplomat, my grandmother was the first one on the floor, and we all be out there with her. So anywhere my family went, we were the dancers. We was always going to dance from the sun up to the sundown.
Right.
And so when we did that, they said, hey, you should do it, do it every other Tuesday. It's supposed to be once a month and every other Tuesday. But it started December 7th, 2021, that Tuesday, and went every Tuesday ever since.
Right. Well, you said you were doing a little something during COVID, too. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so when COVID happened and all the gyms were shut down, I took it to social media because that's all we had.
Okay.
Everything, COVID shut down my birthday month. I was turning 50, had rented out the whole Diplomat, had the whole shebang. Was ready to go. They shut it down. I'm mad. I got to do something. This energy got to burn. We don't have no gyms to go to. What are we going to do? So I did a citywide jump rope challenge. I went around. I ordered all types of jump ropes that I could get because everybody was ordering equipment because they were now stuck at home. I had the equipment at home already for myself. So I ordered as many jump ropes as I could get. And then I went around the city and passed out jump ropes to everybody who wanted one.
Wow.
And so we had a citywide jump rope challenge. Mayor Lovely acknowledged me. My church acknowledged me when it opened back up and said, if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't know what we would have been doing during that time. Between the exercising and the comedy skits, that's what kept us afloat.
Okay. And so that's how you ended up kind of doing the online PnK Fitness, the classes and things that you're doing now, or is that something that you always did? I
always did, but as a joke. I did it as like little snippets. So remember the show, it was the couple show, and he said we'll be back in 2 and 2. So I always tell people during commercial break, do something. So I put on some mismatched socks and silly little outfit, and I'll have a piece of equipment, and I'll say, y'all know commercials is 2 minutes and 2 seconds. Do something, get active. So I'll make a little video doing something during that 2 minutes, and then I would share it. If it was a winter storm, I say, come on, y'all, what y'all doing? Y'all stuck in the house? Let's work out. So it was little videos, and then they started getting bigger and bigger. And then, yeah.
Okay. All right. Yes, because your videos are off the chain. So let's see. Every challenge has the moment where either you break down or you break through when you face challenges in life, right? What was the exact shift or realization for you that helped you choose to break through instead of break down when you were going through this with the, color shaming and things of that nature?
The color shaming didn't bother me as much. It actually created a monster.
This was what happened?
This is what happened. This was the breakthrough. Okay. So it made me a stronger person. My grandmother, who was light-skinned, believed in me. She always gave me pointers. Hold your head up. You smile. Don't let nobody tear you down. If you let her hit you again and you don't hit her back, I'm going to hit you. Okay. Now I gotta take action. So I started manifesting in her words, and I started standing up for myself and, saying stuff back instead of just going with the flow and just accepting things. And you are beautiful. She'd brush my hair and she'd say little things to me and things like that. So that helped me along the way. But my breaking point where I was when I was becoming of age. And like you said earlier, I had some health conditions. So getting a letter in the mail, because this was before Google and all of this stuff, saying you got stage 4, you got to come into the office, give us a call. I was in the office that day because I'm like, what you mean? I've been coming to get my checkup. So going through that, not telling my family because I didn't want the sympathy or the empathy because I didn't know how they was going to take it.
And how old were you then?
22. So went through that, had the surgery, did all of that. My mom.
You did all this without telling your family?
Only person who knew is my sister that passed away. She was the only one I shared the information with because I'm the type, I don't like pity. I didn't want the pity, and I wanted to go through to make sure before it got to a point where it was going to be unturnable. Then I would deal with it. But I didn't want the pity. I did not want that. And I told my sister, don't you cry in front of me. You can do it later. Don't do that. I didn't want that. And I get that from my grandmother because my grandmother was like, girl, I had 2 feet and this, you better. So that's just me. And my dad, that's the pride that I have in myself. So I did not. My mom actually found out when I was going through another procedure and the doctor said, well, after being a cancer. And she was like, what? So I kind of got caught. So
you had a diagnosis of cancer at 22.
Yes.
You you went through the treatments. Well, you told your one sister, and you swore her to secrecy.
Swore her to secrecy.
And then you ended up doing the treatments and everything without even involving your family. So
Yes.
not so much about not wanting pity, but what about like needing some support? You didn't feel like
I wouldn't have got it.
you would not have gotten
I
this.
would not have gotten it.
Come on, Shanden.
I would not have gotten
a cancer diagnosis.
I would not have gotten it. And that's where my mentor was, from the behavior, the relationship that we had.
Right. Okay.
My mom and them definitely would have.
Yeah,
Trust me,
sure.
I felt bad after she found out and the way she felt.
Yeah, because she probably felt like you didn't trust her enough,
but
right?
But she knows, they know me. Like, I've
Yeah.
gone through other stuff, and I'm like, I'll let y'all know when I'm ready to let you know. That's just me. I like to fight through stuff.
Yeah.
So when I fight, and then I'm like, okay. So, like, even when I went through my ectopic pregnancy, when I found out after cervical cancer, endometriosis was the next thing. Me and my now ex-husband was trying to conceive, found out I had an ectopic, 2 rupture, almost had to get a blood transfusion,
that's
almost
dangerous.
bled out.
Yeah.
So go to a fertility specialist. She said, oh, you got endometriosis. Mind you, my mother takes me to a doctor when I turned 16 because I was having such bad times with my cramps. He said, oh, it's just cramps. She'll be all right. Give her on birth control. Grandma, hell nah. Then she gonna think she can go out there and swing that thing.
Throw them legs open. I know
Yeah,
that's
she
right.
she wasn't going
We
for
go,
it. So I was like, if my mama didn't perm my hair, I couldn't know. So so that's where that went, and I just had to suck it up and deal with that for years until I was of age to deal with it. So once I got to the fertility specialist, and that's what she told me, and she said because of my age at that point, she said it was going to be difficult for me to carry. It was going to be difficult for me to have children, and it probably would not be best to do. So hearing that from somebody who wanted a child, because at that point I did, I'm like, I do want a child.
Yeah, at that age
and not
too.
being able
And being
to
married.
conceive. And then I did try it again, and I ended up having a miscarriage. So I was like, you know what? I hear you. It's not for me. So that breakthrough was knowing that instead of me being able to produce, I was not going to be the village for others. So that was my breakthrough, knowing that I'll be there to help support people, because that's what I was always doing.
Right.
I'm always there for everybody. I'm always there. I got 23 godkids.
I believe that.
So,
kids love you.
Yeah, nieces and nephews, and I love kids. So, and I try to, at first I used to be, my breaking point was I wasn't woman enough because I couldn't produce. So that's where my breaking point was. I would always say I'm not depressed, but I'm disappointed. And I always say I'm not going to question him. I understand why, because he had other ventures for me to do, other places he needed me be for others.
Yeah.
So I feel like at some point I used to be selfish, like, oh, if I'd have had mine, then I wouldn't have been able to help you with yours. But he knew that they needed me more than what I could do with my own. So that's just always my mentor of the aspect of the breaking point.
Yeah.
So I do reminisce, I do go back. And then I found out the procedure that the doctor did on me is what actually caused me not to have children. So he gave me an ablation. You didn't have Google back then. You look up ablation now.
Yeah. They actually burned the lining of your uterus.
And that's what he did. And that's what he did. But I'm
and there's probably other things they could have did for but endometriosis is hard to really say, how that's going to
he
turn
did
out
that
for
from
you.
the cervical cancer.
Oh,
so
really?
That was done.
He was just trying to.
He had already finished that way before. So not even knowing that. And then with the fertility specialist talking about all of the scar tissue, I had to have scar tissue removed, because she said, oh, that's why the sperm ain't reaching, because it's like no batter.
Right, right.
So, so just going through all of that at a breaking point at a young age, and then not knowing and now knowing, and like, okay, now how do I move forward? So what I did was, when I finally had my partial hysterectomy, when I got my ovaries removed, I told my story. I went to Facebook, I went to social media, and I told my story, because a lot of black women don't realize that endometriosis is real in us. And a lot of black women don't realize we carry that trait, and those are the circumstances. And a lot of doctors say black women can handle and tolerate things because of who we are as an ethnicity. So we're overlooked in a lot of things. So I said, you know what? It needs to be told.
Yeah,
so
we don't have pain.
We don't have pain to them. So, and I heard that from a neurologist who was Asian at the time, and she learned that when she was doing her intern doctor thing, and she asked them why did they treat this patient this way and another patient this way, and they had the same issue. Oh, they're stronger. They'll be okay. Why you didn't recommend that for them? And that's when she realized that minorities don't get justified as they should. So I said,
now let me like a crackhead.
Exactly. So I said, now let me take. I go with my voice. Let me take this loud, heavy man frog throat voice.
I wouldn't say that, but
It is, girl. Hear it in the morning, you'll hang up. You think you called a man. People be like, hello, Clay. Oh, I thought y'all didn't know it's me. Here I go with my voice again.
Yeah.
And I said, this is why he gave me this unique voice,
Yeah.
this raspy voice so that it could be heard.
Right.
So when I took that story to social media, my inbox was flooded. People concerned with their children, people who have been having miscarriage, who had the similar symptoms. And, everybody's symptom is different, but they're the same at the end of the day. So when I shared that story and opened that book, now endometriosis is worldwide. Like it's March is endometriosis awareness. The color is yellow.
Yeah.
I got the pin on now.
Right.
So
you
just
brought awareness to it.
Right.
I mean,
right.
I guess I could understand that too. I mean, I think all of us, as little girls, grow up and we see our mothers, in some cases, our aunties and other people pregnant, having baby, and so you just think that that's what you're supposed. You never think that you won't be able to have. Right. So I can, so. I mean, even so going through the cancer and then finding out, that you weren't able, that you were having difficulty carrying full term, that those were two big things, right? At a very early age in life. Big. So I know that, and maybe I'm not, what was it that helped you to get past that though? Was it, some people say, well, I found God, but I know that you've always been active in the church.
Always.
But what was it that really said that led you to feel like, okay, this is okay, and I'm gonna take what I've been handed and I'm gonna make something. I'm gonna help other people. Was it just your heart to help people?
That was me, my heart, my voice to speak out. And when I posted that, my mom was, why did you put all that out there? Because it needed to be heard. I mean, it was a long post. It was transparent for me.
Yeah.
Because I hadn't shared any of this with anybody.
Yeah. Well, the releasing is very good.
It was the first time.
Yeah.
So releasing that and letting it go and getting it out there, and for people to understand, sometimes I snap at people and they don't understand why. It could have been just one of those moments back then. Or, oh, she's so, why is she so uptight?
Yeah, they didn't know what you had on your heart.
They didn't know what I was going through. So, like you say, people never know what people are going through.
Yeah. They
don't know what they've been through.
Right.
And they don't know how they still continue. So when you say, how did I get past it? I didn't. I didn't. I dealt with it. I look at my baby footprints that I got tattooed on my wrist. I said, oh, my child would have been so-and-so age. I reminisce all the time. And if somebody asks me about it now, I'm not ashamed. So that was the thing. I had to come over being ashamed. I felt ashamed. So like, why me? Like, I'd never heard of endometriosis. What is that?
What is that?
Right. And
and I know it probably took you a little time to learn how to say that too.
Endo, the word is
right.
endo. That's the acronym.
Right.
So and then when I had to get my hysterectomy, like my our grandparents, very vocal. Yeah. Oh, you're going to get gutted like a fish.
They would say,
yeah, grandma.
They would say anything.
I'm going to get gutted like a fish.
That's why I don't understand people having all these hang-ups about, and they're being so sensitive. Like, what have we created in this generation?
Yes.
Because we used to get cussed out.
Cussed.
Called all kind of everything but the child of God.
And feelings. What's feelings? You what? You crying?
You better suck it up. Right. What is you talking about? But now
you better stop crying.
Right. Right. So then so I don't know. I don't know where we had the disconnect, but I guess that's for
gentle
another
parenting.
Is that what it? Is that what it was? Oh, okay. I wouldn't know. I mean, my mom. I wasn't abused or anything, but my mother was very direct and to the point. And when she had something that she was going to say, she would just say it. It wasn't no.
Always. So, and that was the difference for me, because I had my dad and my dad's side, and I had my mom and my mom's side.
Yeah.
My mom's side was the let's go, what? Ain't no feelings, ain't no hugging, ain't no I love yous.
Yeah.
My dad's side was like, come here, sugar, hey baby.
Yeah.
What's up, Sugarfoot?
Totally different dynamic.
Totally different dynamic. So that's why I tell people in my DNA, it is so all twisted and binded together. I was a Sour Patch Kid before they came out. Who you today? I don't know. Might be the Indian me. Oh yeah. Rain dance. It was just so much. So, but getting the best of both worlds. That's how I strived. So I was the hugger. Now my mom's side, we hug.
So you brought that into that.
When I first hugged him, everybody was like, "What you doing?"
I've experienced that too. I remember I gave a young lady a hug, and she was jumping, and she was, and I wasn't sure. Like I wasn't sure if I was triggering her, or because you don't know what happens with people, and
Right.
sometimes you think if you hear like molestation or predatory behaviors, you think of a man, right?
Right.
And so in some cases,
is
it could be a
woman.
woman. So, but what she came back and she said she never had a hug, but she's never been hugged before.
See?
And so
And
that
that's
was
me.
that
I'm a
was
hugger.
crazy to me.
COVID took me out. I can't touch you. Yeah, and I saw this one young lady one time. I was walking, and I gave her a hug. She put up a post and tagged me. She said, "Every time I see this young lady, I catch her at the right time. She gives me the best hugs." She said, and it's just not like a hug and let go. She said, and I was going through something that day, and she didn't know how much I needed that hug. So I'm going to hug you before anything. You can throw your hand out, I'm going to shake it, and I'm going to pull you in. We're going to chest bump and hug. That's it.
Chest bump. Okay. I guess my next question would be, how has you've kind of answered this question, but have you noticed that people come to you and they want to talk to you about how resilient you are for going through all this stuff and still smiling and continuing to thrive and going and getting these certificates and just living your life? I mean, sometimes I think people have trouble moving on. Like they get stuck sometimes.
Yes.
And I think that's how come we see a lot of our people, with alcoholism and with drug abuse and things of that nature, because they get stuck in this moment and they can't move past it. Correct. And so you have some people that will do that, and then maybe one day they'll wake up and they'll figure it out. And I'm sure that's a lot of people's stories. And in some cases they don't, they just stay there. You know what I'm saying? So what is it that helped you to, was there like a cross road, like a fork in the road where you had to say, either I'm gonna do this or I'm gonna do that, and you just decided to get off the shit or get off the pot, excuse my French, on my Enid family. So, like piss or get off the pot, right? So what, was there a point for that with you, or where you felt like you were feeling sorry for yourself and you might not have, you could have turned to the bottle, you could have turned to drugs, you could have turned to anything, right? Sex, whatever, right? There's all these isms that you could have turned to, but instead you took that and made it into something positive. And so what was it that got you there?
So what got me there was, the funny thing is, I've never been athletic. Everybody in my family, track runners, marathon runners, I wanted a pair of 4-inch pumps and a mini skirt.
Right.
I was always the dainty one.
Right.
Family all worked in the factory. Nope, give me a desk so I can get cute. That was just always me.
Get your lip gloss
that's
popping.
it. I'm just gonna be. Everybody followed the factory. I'm not doing the factory. I need a desk job so I can dress up and be cute. So what happened was I did a wedding one day, and I took a picture with the bride. This was August 31st, 2013, and I posted the pictures. And I was sideways, and she was looking at the camera. And I said, ugh. I was like, wait a minute. Picked up the phone, called my mom. Ma, why you ain't tell me my arm looked like the Bam Bam in the Flintstones be carrying? She was like, well, I said, oh, no. Any other time your mouth is open. Why you didn't, I didn't, and the thing about it was, the stomach was sitting there, but it was the arm. It was the Auntie Annie M arm. Sorry, anybody mama name Auntie Annie M, but the Auntie M, like I've been stirring chitlins and collard greens all my life. Ain't never stirred a pot of greens or chitlins. So I was like, what is going on? Joined gyms, paid for a whole year, never went back. Go with my sister to the track. She running, I'm walking around the track eating crackers. Mind you, I was skinny my entire adolescent life.
I remember that.
I have bronchial asthma, one of my other situations. So I was put on prednisone. 5'2", 183 pounds. Now I look like the Michelin baby, grandbaby. So Michelin baby. Here I am, this little short thing, because when you're short, you look bigger than what you are.
So let me stop you just for 1 second. So you had this stuff going on. Mm-hmm. You were kind of working through it. And then one day you look at a picture. Okay, all right.
And my arm.
Okay, and your arm
looked like a lamb chop.
Okay. This girl. So you noticed
looked
that
like a thigh, like my thigh was walking on. So in that picture, that was August 31st, 2013. Back in the day, it was called Bally's. Used to join all the time. They never called me. Went for a week. They never called me, but they called when it was time to renew. Yeah. So I ain't thinking about y'all. Y'all don't call me throughout, ask me how I'm doing, where I'm at, but you got my money.
Right.
So one day I get up. We were off. It was September 11th. September 11th. I said, let me search. I don't want to go to the gym that's unisex. Let me see if there's an all-female gym around here. Because I don't got time for the wannabe bodybuilder or prisoners coming out of prison bodybuilder, man, and just want to come over and help you work. No, I don't want to be bothered. I want to go in and work out. Rack was up the street from where I stayed. I said, perfect. Went in there, loved it, loved everything about it. The general manager there, the assistant, well, the son, general manager there was great. I had restrictions. I wasn't supposed to get on the treadmill. I was only supposed to do the bike. Y'all know I'm hard-headed. Got on the treadmill. And that's because my ankle is fused. So everything that y'all see me doing today, I'm not even supposed to be able to do because I have a 3.5-inch titanium screw fused into my ankle. I have no mobility in my left ankle.
So is that why you weren't athletic, or is it just...
No, that didn't happen until 2013. That's when I sat at home and got even bigger.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay.
So, in a cast for 4 months, no weight bearing, boot cast, got out, and I had restrictions to go into the gym. And then I was like, okay, after a while, I'm like, this bike turned up my knees. I'll go ride a bike. I ain't got to come pay to ride a bike.
Right.
So I got on the treadmill one day, and I'm going, and I see the dynamics of the facility. And I get it. It's a moneymaker. That's what they do. So I'm like, but they're not teaching any value to it. They're keeping you there. They let you lose a little. They take you to a scale in this room. But then this scale in this room says something different. So I would go into the scale that I knew was accurate, closer to what my doctor's scale was. I walk in there, draws and broad, and they got people in there, they signing up, and I'm like, excuse me, church finger, I'm just going to the scale. Everybody seen butts and tits before. We all women. It is what it is. Go to the scale, get on it. Okay, we cool. Then I learned that the scale was a distraction. That's how they get you.
Yeah.
Get on the scale.
Yeah.
Stop getting on that scale.
Right. Because muscle weighs more than fat.
And weight's going to fluctuate. Weight's going to...
Water weight, especially in women, yeah.
And you lose weight in inches. But at that time, I didn't know that. I got from 183 to 171, plateaued, didn't go anywhere for a year. But they was taking my money. Nobody came to help me. So I started figuring out stuff for myself. Was doing stuff all ass backwards. And then that's when I said in 2017... get certified. You can do this. So I got certified as a women's group fitness instructor first. Didn't know the first what I was doing. Read up all this stuff and then started doing my own research.
So was that in the time frame of Jane Fonda and Richard Simmons when they were on TV doing step classes and things like that?
No, that was like centuries before.
Before that?
Yeah.
It wasn't centuries.
No. Billy Blanks and all of them had them. T90 was out.
Okay.
Was big
P90X
back then.
and all that kind of stuff.
All of them was
Okay,
out.
all right. I was waiting. Because when my mother used to work out, and my mother worked out, she was at Bally's. Because when you said Bally's, that's what kind of reminded me. It used to be American Health Spas. And she would go and, she would say, okay, I'm going to the spa or whatever. And I was like, okay. And so sometimes she would take me with her and I would see her working out. She'd be the only black person in there. And it was more of a club for real. Like you had to be a card carrying member, to get in and out and stuff like that. And she would go in, and I think my mother never really had a weight problem, but I think her thing with me was just that I did because my father's family was shorter and a little
stout.
Yes, okay, and my mother's family was taller and thinner, and so but she would always tell me, just take care of yourself. You don't want to get too big. You know what I'm saying? So whenever she would see where I was kind of getting too big, she'd be like, "Oh, you got to catch yourself." So I think that with seeing her going to the gym, that's something that I decided to do. When I got older, and even and I had the same experience. I don't know what really to do.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And they put you on the you're going to do 3 sets of this and 2 sets of that.
12, 8, and 10. 12, 8, and 10.
Right. And then you're not really getting any real benefit.
At all.
And back then, they didn't talk about diet. And they didn't talk about staying well hydrated and sleeping.
They wanted to keep you coming.
Right.
They let you do enough, see a little bit of enough. And what's the first 3 letters of diet?
Die.
Okay. Don't eat.
Right.
You gone?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
You don't have to tell me. I told you what my sport was in school.
So,
lunch.
Exactly. Lunch.
Okay.
Your sport was lunch. So as a certified nutritionist, that a lot of people don't agree with my mindset of the way that I see food. I'm allergic to fruits and vegetables.
Right.
So what people see me eat is junk food, but that's what society deemed as junk food. For me, it's food.
Yeah.
So I say food is food. So I tell people you can eat what you like to eat. It's how you cook it, how you season it,
and how much, right?
How much? Because when we was young, we didn't know we was struggling. Them portion size was smaller than what they was.
Well.
And that little person, it seemed like a lot. and you better eat all that food. But now we grown.
Yeah.
So as a nutritionist, I'm not going to tell you what to eat. I'm going to help you on how to eat what you're already eating, because I'm not going to take that away from you. We already had that enough as kids.
Right.
Why would I tell a grown person that? Because I want you to continue to keep coming. And that's where a lot of failure happens in the health industry, because we trying to tell people they got to eat like Bugs Bunny. Get you some peanut butter. Get you some of this and celery. We all know we need protein. We all know we need fiber. There's all types of fats out there. Fats and sugar is in everything you eat.
Yeah.
It's in
Any
everything
processed
you eat.
food.
In everything you eat. So you can't hide from it.
Yeah.
And going vegan, pescatarian, but there's nutrients in meats that you need. And if you feel like you're okay with it and your body is fine with it, then all means, I'm not going to knock anybody or what they're doing or what they're trying to do, because what works for you may not work for me, and vice versa.
Right.
And that's why whatever trainer or nutritionist that you're dealing with should have that conversation with you. You said earlier we was on that conversation. Girl, we was talking like we knew each other for 30 years. That was a 3-hour consult.
You said, I do a 15-minute consult.
And the thing about it was, I was fine with that. I didn't rush you off.
Yeah, no, you didn't. You listened and you were very attentive, and you said, I know exactly what you feel like. Yeah. So when you saw this picture and you saw your arm, because I remember that when you say the Michelin Man, I used to do CrossFit. I started doing CrossFit. Yep. And what I did was I started to do intermittent fasting. Okay. And at the time, I was premenopausal. So when I started, okay, so as I was doing it, I ended up going into menopause. So I didn't realize, though, that with the decrease of the estrogen and that the workout I was doing was actually increasing my stress hormone.
Exactly.
And so I was working against myself, because those workouts, I don't know if you've ever experienced one, but they're pretty intense. I liked it because I love the weightlifting part of it, and I was feeling very strong. Right. But one day I went into the gym, and actually we went there was a competition. We went in for the competition, and I had brought a friend of mine. And we get in there, and I just happened to walk past the mirror, because I think I had on a cream color like jog set or whatever. And I really looked like the Michelin Man. I was like, what is going on? I said, why is this? So I went home and I took my clothes off. I took some pictures, and I said, I got to get this weight off. So I started, so I talked to a nutritionist. He said, oh, you're not eating enough food. I said, I eat, he was like, you got to eat more food. And I'm like, I just can't. But he didn't understand. He was a younger guy, white guy. And he was a great nutritionist, but he didn't understand where I was as a woman, as a black woman. Right. So it took me some years. And so when I finally, I was devastated, because I'm telling you, I would get up in the morning. I would go to the gym in the morning. I would probably be there from like about 7:30 to about 9. And I really was working out. Right. Because when you go to a CrossFit gym, they're not in there to play.
Not at all.
They in there to slay.
Exactly.
You're going to be working out. And everybody encourages each other. So, when I realized that, so basically what was happening was I was starving my muscles. Mm-hmm. And because I was doing that, my body started eating away at my muscle. Mm-hmm. And then I became inflamed. And that's why and so over time, you know what I'm saying? The muscle was being
turned into fat.
Right, exactly. Mm-hmm. And I was so discouraged. So when I did talk to you, and you were like, and as I'm learning, and me being a medical person, right? Seems like I would have known that, but I'm not a specialist in women's health. Right. Right. I'm more of a family health kind of person. So we do like diabetes, high blood pressure, strokes, heart attacks, things like that. And women's health is a totally separate
a lot of people don't realize
animal,
that.
And they don't realize it. And I really should have. And if I can encourage anyone out here, especially women, if you feel like you're tired, or if you feel like something just isn't right, please talk to your doctor about it, and go see a OBGYN and let them know what's going on. Let them check some of your hormone levels, and get some information about your body and about yourself. Start paying attention to the way you're responding to different things, because a lot of times those are cues that your body needs something, and that there's something there could be something very well going wrong, or it just could be a part of your natural process of maturing. So when I did finally find out, I talked to a gynecologist who told me this is what's going on, and he explained the whole thing. It was a guy, and then he explained the whole thing to me, the cortisol and this and that, and that's how come. So now, and that's where you get this fat in here from the cortisol. Yes. So the workouts that I was doing was putting my body under stress. When my body thought it was under stress, it started releasing more cortisol. Exactly. So the whole workout was making it even worse.
A waste of time.
Yeah, he said you might do better taking a nap. I said, what?
He ain't never lied.
He never lied.
Surprising. He said go get something to eat.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. He told me you need to eat and you need to sleep. And I'm looking at him like, what?
And a lot of people don't realize they need to eat. So people starve themselves. So when people be talking about the fast and intermittent fasting, knock yourself out if that works for you. Yeah. I tell people, I had the one student come to me and I'm doing this, I'm working out. She said, and I said, well, what are you eating? She wasn't eating enough. And I told her to eat, and the weight fell off. Because you have to have, even though The BMI, the body mass index, that was made too many years ago. I really don't fluctuate with it because it doesn't work for African Americans. It wasn't created for us, so it doesn't work for us. So I tell people, body mass index, you could be 110 pounds and 4'11" is going to tell you overweight. You know, still take it in consideration. But what you want to look at your water weight, you want to look at your protein, you want to look at the nutrients that you're intaking into your body, but you also want to get food in. So if you're looking to lose weight, you need to be in a caloric deficit. If you're looking to gain weight, you want to be over your calories. Right. A lot of people want to strength train, they want to weight train. So I tell them, you know, if you want to build muscle, you want to lose, it all depends on what it is that you're doing and seeking. And that's why I tell everybody that your trainer should know what it is that you're looking to do. So when you came to me and you said, well, I did this and I did that, and I said, you don't got to lift no heavy weights. Didn't I say that? I said, don't take all that to get the tone that you want, because it doesn't take all of that. You don't need to lift 60-pound dumbbells, tear something in your shoulder. You know what I mean? So that's why I tell people, it's the little things that create bigger things. And that's how it works. It's a dynamic to it all.
I just want a brick of wisdom from you for if there's a person out here that's watching today and they are facing something that they feel right now is like the hardest challenge that they've ever had to overcome. They're in the middle of a really hard season. They're in the middle of a storm. They don't know how they're going to get through it. What would your wisdom be?
My mission and vision statement that I have for PnK Fitness 4.1. To live life, do not allow life to live you. Live your life. You know who you are. You know what you want to do. You know who you want to be. Do it, be it, go and get it. Isaiah 41:10 says, and in this verse, there's a couple of parts in this verse, but there's the one part that sticks with me. I will strengthen you and I will help you. That's him telling you that he's going to provide the necessary things to help you get through that mental, that physical, that spiritual, and that emotional part of your life when you hit those hurdles and those obstacles, those challenges that you don't think you can get through. But at the end of every storm, there's light.
Okay. All right. I can handle that. And I would like to even piggyback on that to say that there's a lot of things going on right now in the world, guys. And, you know, there's a lot of different religions. People have a lot of different beliefs. And I'm not going to debate with anybody as to who's right and who's wrong, because in the bit of research that I've done, I've noticed that there's been a little bit of everything across all denominations. And I don't think anybody 100% got it right. But what I am going to say is that, you know, you have to stand on something or you're going to fall for anything.
Yes.
And for me, I'm a Christian. Okay, so I don't claim any particular religion. I'm more of a spiritual person, and that's a blend of a lot of different things. Right now, I practice as a missionary Baptist, and I think that you have to have some sort of a belief system in order for you to thrive in this world and to get past certain things in life. So whatever that may be, do your research, find out what that is. But you've got to have something that you can, where you have a community of believers that you can get through anything in this life. And my thing is, I just believe in the Black Jesus. It's just simple as that. And I think there's so many things that we have been misled about, and some of it might be a little mystical, right? Some of it might be things that we just never imagined, right? But there's some truth to a lot of it. So, you know, do your research, and we have to come together, find your tribe. Find your like-minded individuals, and y'all get out here and figure out what's going on, because this world is not going to get any better, and we're going to have to stand up and soldier up, and we're going to have to support one another.
Yes.
So thank you for joining us. Thank you, Shanden, for coming today.
Thank you.
We appreciate your time. Please like and share, and we will talk to you next week. Deuces.
Try new ways.